Welcome, everybody, to the 350th episode of Nitro Game Injection. That's right, episode number 350. Holy shit! 350 episodes! What have I been doing with my life? Other than listening to awesome video game music like that track that started us off in the form of The Hit Points, which is like, for right now, like gonna be one of my albums of the year, 2019, because holy crap. You're gonna take video game music and you're gonna bluegrass it up? Yes please, I will take it. I will take bluegrass, I will take mariachi, I will take metal, I will take electronic, I will take all sorts of, I'll take everything. I'll take folk music, which we're gonna have a little bit later, courtesy of good old banjo guy Ollie. He'll be coming up later, along with a ton of other people. So, of course, as you might have guessed by teasing it throughout the week, if you're following on social media and stuff, and if the background music and the track we started off with was any indication, this episode is all about Guile. It's the theme that goes with everything, quite literally, and it's finally going with Nitro Game Injection. So the 350th episode is all remixes of Guile's theme. That's right, Guile is played by the decidedly not American Jean-Claude Van Damme in Street Fighter the movie. And he didn't even bother trying to mask an accent. Mask the accent that he has. It's a good time. I actually like that movie. In terms of video game movies, it's one of the more entertaining and watchable ones. I think the same thing of the Super Mario Brothers movie and the first Mortal Kombat movie. The second Mortal Kombat movie is just silly. And it's watchable in a completely different way in that it's actually bad. Street Fighter is pretty bad, but also fun. I'm fine with it. I don't mind Street Fighter the movie, so... I mean, it's stupid, but it's stupid in all the right ways. So, before we move on, though, and get into more Guile goodness, I want to give a shout-out at the top of the show to my good buddy Compy Fox and his project, his ongoing project, The Mix Challenge. Mix-challenge.com. Head on over there. You can get involved in remix competitions, mastering competitions, mix challenges. The theme for the Mix Challenge this month is alternative rock tracks. It's December. The deadline for that is December. Sorry, April 21st. You can also get involved in a songwriting competition. The theme is Firestarter, dedicated to Keith Flint of The Prodigy. So you have a genre restriction of big beat. So kind of like in the style of Chemical Brothers, Junkie XL, Crystal Method, Prodigy, all good stuff. The deadline for that is the 24th of April, and mix-challenge.com. Check it out. All right, let's go ahead and get into some of the Guile stuff. I mean, we already have with the hit points starting us off there with a real awesome track, but we got a lot more coming. So let's start off with A-Rival and Family Jewels. This is from A-Rival's album Headbangers from Game Chops. Yeah, good stuff from A-Rival, of course. And of course, Family Jewels getting in there too, so I'm good. Guile's theme right here. Nitro Game Injection.
Round 2.
Bit of a long tail of silence on the end of that one. Whoops. That was Power Glove with Guile's Theme, the very creatively titled track from their album Continue. Not to be confused with the YouTube show Continue and other things that are also named Continue. And I say continue because there's a question mark at the end. So, hey. Before that, we had Shinrei with another metal version of Guile's Theme. That was Guile's Theme Goes With Metal, which is very true. That was a track released on OverClocked Remix back in 2015. Good old Shinrei. Shinrei is awesome, by the way. If you haven't checked out their YouTube channel, I recommend it. They've done some really cool stuff. And they did a, what was it, Crash Bandicoot? Crash Bandicoot 3 title theme cover. Yeah, it's probably been over a year now. It's around the time that it might have been before even, that the Crash Bandicoot Remake Collection dropped. And I really enjoyed that one too. So, Shinrei, great videos and awesome, freaking awesome remixes. And starting us off there was the very loud A-Rival and Family Jewels with Guile's Theme from Street Fighter 2. Ironically, Family Jewels was not the loud one in that one. It was actually A-Rival. Oh well. Sorry about the volume discrepancy there and jumping into that one. It's like, whoa, my ears, they're exploding. They're exploding in awesomeness, but they're still exploding. So, it's all good. So, we're doing some interesting discussion in the Discord with CompiFox, and apparently Dead Rising is banned in Germany by their ratings board. I don't know if it's actually banned by the government or not, but it's banned by their ratings board. But Dead Rising is banned, but Resident Evil is not. Speaking of Capcom, it's like, what? Dead Rising is silly, stupid. It's a freaking comic book. It's funny. It's hilarious. Dead Rising is awesome. Resident Evil is like horrifically violent and gratuitous and just ridiculously just gross. And it both involve killing formerly living humans or evil people trying to kill you. I don't understand. It makes no sense. Oh well. They're in the EU, so it's not like it's really hard to get a hold of quote unquote banned games. But you know, just the fact that it's never let it be said that ratings boards and potentially governments aren't hypocritical. Kind of silly. Anyway, let's get back into the Street Fighter goodness, which I don't think is banned in Germany. I don't think so. Even though you could argue that M. Bison might be a depiction of a fascist regime along the lines of another fascist regime that Germany cracked down on depictions of for many, many, many decades. But regardless, we'll move on from that. And let's get into more Guile goodness. I'm going to keep saying that a lot, Guile goodness. It's fun. So we had the rockin', we had the metal. The metal started us off, you know, it's how we roll on NGI, but there's more than just metal when it comes to Guile's Theme. So let's go ahead and get into this track from the Koopa Kids from their album The Sega CD. Why they're called the Koopa Kids and their first album is called The Sega CD. And it's kind of weird. It's like, we're the Koopa Kids, our first album, our debut album, The Sega CD. All right. Thought it would be something Mario related, maybe, but what do I know? It's fine. This is Guile's Theme, another creatively titled track. Keep it here. This is Nitro Game Injection. That right there was 130 Grit with the disco funk cover of Guile's theme. Slightly more creative title, at least. Describes the genre. That one is from 130 Grit's album Let's Play the Cover Collection Volume 3. I think he's up to Volume 8 now. So that one's back from 2016. Still a great track. Before that, we had the Street Fighter Bigband with Round 1, Fight! Of course, that was a little bit more than just Guile's theme. Also had the title theme in there and some other stuff too. So, a little bit of a break from Guile, but you know, not for long because I got a lot more to go. And of course, starting us off there was the Koopa Kids from their album The Sega CD. That was, you know, Guile's theme. I don't know. That's what most of these songs are called. Or Theme of Guile. Or Guile. Guile Theme. Whatever. Up next, going back into the rockin' stuff for a little bit. This is Husky by the Geek with a bit of an older track from him. This particular track is an arrangement of Guile's theme in 10 styles. So let's go ahead and get into it. Keep it here. This is Nitro Game Injection. That right there was banjo guy Ollie folking it up with Guile's Theme from his album BGO Volume 3. Before that, we had Baker, just Baker, with Guile, Aggressive Remix. I really enjoyed that one. That's from the album Street Fighter Compilation Remix Chiptune, an official release from Capcom back in 2014. A pretty cool album. I recommend checking it out. The chiptune aspect of it is not, it's mixed in with other stuff, so it's not like it's just chiptune arrangements. So whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is up to you to decide, but I definitely enjoyed that particular remix. Some of them are better than others, so keep that in mind, of course. And started off there with Husky by the Geek with Guile's Theme in 10 styles. It got that Guile style. And hey, it's time to rock some more. So let's rock, shall we? This is Octorock from their album The Underground, an album I was not familiar with until just recently, but apparently came out back in 2018. You can find it at octorock.bandcamp.com. And yes, that is Octorock, you know, kind of like the Zelda enemy, except rock is spelled correctly. Or is Octorock spelled correctly too? Is rock spelled correctly in the Zelda enemy Octorock, or am I misremembering that? Anyway, regardless, this is Guile's Theme. Keep it here. It's the Nitro Game Injection, where we're all Guile's Theme. That right there was a classic Dwelling of Duels and Overclocked remix track from good old Norrin Radd, and not to be confused with the Silver Surfer, of course. That was Go Home and Be a Family Man. I'm a little sad and kind of surprised that Norrin Radd never remixed the Silver Surfer game, which has a great soundtrack, but is a horrible game. Don't play it. But listen to the music, because the music is awesome. But that was Go Home and Be a Family Man. Finally, a track with a real title. I mean, sure, it's just a quote from the game, but still. That one was from way back in Dwelling of Duels, March 2004, Fighting Games month. And that one got first place. That one dates all the way back to 2004, which makes that track, what, 15 years old? Over 15 years old? That track is literally a month younger than Nitro Game Injection. Nitro Game Injection started in March of 2003. And April of 2003, that track came out. So that track is pretty much just as old. Or, no, okay, it was a year later. March 2004. Okay, yeah, a year, not a month. But yeah, so 15 years though. So NGI only predates that song by a year. And I've played it many times, and I'll be playing it many more because it's still a great track. Still holds up really well, even for a track from 2004. Especially for a track from 2004. Good stuff there from Norrin, as always. Before that, we had Rich Bichler, featuring insaneintherainmusic with Guile's Theme, featured on Materia Collective's album Versus. Before that, we had Octorock starting us off with Guile's Theme from their album The Underground. I think we're gonna calm down a little bit now. You know, we've had some pretty exciting tracks. We've had some rocking tracks. We had some tracks to get your feet moving, get you dancing. You know, tracks to get you like doing all sorts of weird contortions and whatever else. Now it's time to calm down a little bit. Here's some solo piano. This one is from Sonia Belousova from the Player Piano YouTube channel, and this particular track, in typical fashion, is simply titled Guile's Theme. Keep it here. This is NGI.
Fight!
There was a classic track from Mitch Murder. A little bit of a synthwave feel to that one, of course, because, it's Mitch Murder. That was from Mitch Murder's album Selection 3 from 2015. And, of course, the track is simply titled Guile's Theme, because, of course, it is. Before that, we had KNGI. I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce that. With Spitfire's Boom from OverClocked Remix, an OC remix track. Be a bit more recent, from 2016. Good stuff there. Not quite calming. I think Guile's Theme, just by its very nature, is not very calming. Because I said, we're going to calm down a little bit, and then it's not very calming. Even on solo piano, I guess it's not too calming. But speaking of solo piano, we had Sonia Belousova starting us off there with Guile's Theme, of course. Because that's what this show is. It's all Guile's Theme. Too much Guile's Theme. Just kidding, that's not a thing. Anyway, man, we have a lot of tracks left, and we are almost an hour and a half into the show, and we still have a lot left, so let's go ahead and keep on trucking. Up next, we got a classic OverClocked remix from R.A.H. This one dates back to 2003, which is coincidentally the same year KNGI started. This one is a good one. Still holds the test of time, I think. R.A.H.'s tracks usually do. This is Guile's Theme, R.A.H. mix. Keep it here. This is Nitro Game Injection. That was Heosphorus, or as he's also known, Horse Force, with Be a Family Man, from his album Beneath the Skin, from back in 2012. You can find out over at heosphorus.bandcamp.com. Good stuff there from Heosphorus. If you're into chiptune arrangements of video game music, check it out. Good stuff. NES-style arrangements, I should say, of video game music. Before that, we had Overclocked University and Moonlapse with Family Man from Overclocked University's recent album, A Sophomore Year, just came out last year. You know, add some lyrics to Guile's theme a bit, and also to a little bit to Zangief's theme. Although there's already a version of Zangief's theme with lyrics. It's called Red Cyclone. Look it up. It's good. It's a really good song. And starting us off there was Reza with Guile's theme, R.A.H. mix. Finally, some songs that aren't just titled Guile's theme. But that changes right now, because we got the Baker Brothers with a funk version of Guile's theme. Not to be confused with Baker that I played earlier. This is the Baker Brothers, completely different. And we're going to funk things up a little bit. So let's go ahead and get into it. Keep it here. This is NGI.
Fight!
Death is shit.
Sonic Boom!
「日が来た愛しい君と別れる日は」「君と過ごした日々を忘れはしない」「あ炎のソニックブーム」「怒りのロンリーウルフ」日が来た君と別れは辛いけど美しい君の笑顔覚えているようなれさまそるとき戦うロンリーウルフ
That right there was Tomohiro Iwasa with Lonely Wolf from the show Street Fighter 2, aka Street Fighter Sings. There's also an instrumental version of that album, so an instrumental version of that song if you would prefer. But, you know, that'd be fun. Have the lyric version as well. Or, not as well, but have the lyric version in this episode. That is also the same album that a track that Purvis mentioned earlier in the chat, Bison's Dream, a remix of Balrog's theme, if you're Westerner. A remix of Boxer's theme. We'll go with that, because, things get weird with the name rotation that they did for the West, for the bosses. Except Sagat. He managed to get out of it, but everyone else has a different name over here, because, I don't know. They were afraid Mike Tyson would sue them. Who knows? Who knows if he would have. Would have been interesting if he did. But regardless, that track right there dates back to, what, 1994? 1992, never mind. Like the same year Street Fighter 2 came out. Before that, we had Trenthian with Guile's Mile Long Dong. Remix from Blood on the Asphalt, a Super Street Fighter 2 remix collaboration from OverClocked Remix. The album that coincidentally led to OverClocked Remix collaborating directly with Capcom on Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo HD Remix. That HD remake for PS3 and Xbox 360 that came out a few years back. The OCR contributed the soundtrack for that. Sadly, Guile's Mile Long Dong did not make the cut. Why not? I'm very disappointed. I wanted a song on an official Street Fighter soundtrack to be called Guile's Mile Long Dong. That's a huge missed opportunity. Seriously. Also, there was some Zelda at the end. I don't know why. And before that, speaking of random sound clips peppered throughout songs, we had the Baker Brothers with a Guile's Theme funk cover. Unfortunately, I'm very sad that was the only version of that track I could find that has random, badly recorded voice clips in it. I'm assuming from the Baker Brothers recording sessions. I don't know what they're there for. They don't really add a whole heck of a lot to the song. They don't add anything to the song, really. I could have just left them out, but, it's okay. Still a great track, though. I really dig that one. It's just kind of a shame that it has those random voice clips in it. So, anyway. All right, well, we are cruising through this episode, but man, we are going to go overtime tonight, which makes sense. It's 350th episode. So, it's a big one, but we're definitely going over. So, I'm going to keep things cruising, though, with the track from Friedrich Bichler. Probably said that horribly wrong. Ruined it all, but I did my best. This is Guile Theme. Keep it here. This is KNGI. You know, it's kind of funny when games get ported to the Master System and come along with vastly inferior versions of the original soundtracks. Although, you know, this one has some pretty cool soloing going on. So that's what I'm playing in the background right now, by the way, is the Sega Master System version of Guile's Theme from Street Fighter 2. I get a good chuckle out of it because it's like so much more simplified, and yet, like, it's still pretty good. It's not bad. Like, if you listen for the soloing and stuff in it, it's really cool. Here we go. Here's a good solo. Of course, by the time I, bunked it up, it was over. Oh well. Alright, so you just heard Prism, the artist formerly known as Niblix, and also known as Nabil Ansari, with Sonic Boom American Mix, an Overclocked remix track. I believe this one is featured on one of the fighting competition ones as well that I cannot remember the name of right now. I can't remember if it was CEO or Evo or which one it was, but I know it's on one of them. So, but Prism, there's two artists named Prism on OCR. One is with an I and one is with a Y. One is with funky capitalization and one is all capitalized. So, have fun with that. Oh well. Before that, we had Retro Remix Review with a track that I still freaking love. Retro Remix Review is freaking fantastic, and I'm really sad that they're pretty much, as far as I can tell, dead. I mean, I'm sure the people in Retro Remix Review are still alive, but the band itself just gone, disappeared. There was a bit of a controversy when it got posted, not posted on OCR, but posted on OCR's forums. Like, hey, check out this cool video game music remix album. And of course, apparently, the forums had to be like, oh, the songs aren't different enough from the original. Whatever. It's fine. Get over yourselves. So, but I'm glad there's at least 2 albums of Retro Remix Review goodness that are well worth checking out. They weren't even posted on OCR, so I don't know what everybody was getting all up in a fuss about. And the performances and the recording and everything else about it is fan-freaking-tastic. So who cares if maybe the arrangements are a little bit closer to the originals anyway? And also, OCR does post some pretty conservative arrangements. It happens, get the original song played on the real instruments with some soloing in there. OCR posts that. Not always, but frequently. To that Shinrei song at the top of the episode, posted last year. Whatever. It's weird OCR community elitism, I guess. I don't know. I love you, OCR, but sometimes you're weird. And before that, we had Friedrich Highbutler. Which, I mean, if you want to point at a song and say it was a harking very close to another arrangement, at least, that particular track is not too different from that Street Fighter 2 Neshao Lonely Wolf remix that I played right before it. It's very similar. That's fine. I don't mind that. I kind of like remixes of remixes. It's fun. But, it's very similar. So, great stuff, though, regardless. So, anyway, I'm getting tired. The show's getting long. So, I think that's a good sign that I really need to keep moving. So, let's keep moving with some Jake Kaufman, aka Vert. This one is a really good arrangement. I love this particular track. It's freaking awesome. Vert doing Guile's Theme. This is Herb Alpert. Goes with everything. Keep it here. This is Nitro Game Injection. That right there was Motoaki Furukawa with Guile Stage from the Street Fighter Tribute album. Before that, we had Mariachi Entertainment System from their newest release from earlier this year, Con Sangre de Gamer. That was Guile's Theme once again. And then, of course, starting us off was Jake Kaufman, aka Vert, with Herb Alper Goes With Everything. I love that song. Love all those songs, actually. Mariachi Entertainment System. Man, they're freaking great. They're freaking great. All right, well, that near-death song in the background means we are near the end of the show. And hey, hope you guys have enjoyed this episode of Nitro Game Injection. We are definitely going long. And got your fill of Guile remixes right here. I don't know if anybody ever needs to make or play any more Guile remixes ever again, but that will not stop them. There will be many more to come. So, before we head out, I do want to give a shout out and thank you to many, many people who have helped keep the show going, who've helped make the show what it is, and have done a lot of awesome stuff for me and for the show and everybody else involved. It's the 350th episode, so I gotta give credit where it's due. It's been a long time coming to get to this point, and I'm hoping to keep going for a long time more. At least 350 more episodes. Okay, maybe not that many. Maybe another. Let's take it week by week and see how things go. Oh, no, I'm kidding. I'm planning on this, sitting in here for the long haul. So, first, I will give a shout out to all the current and former patrons over at patreon.com/KNGI. If you are or have been a supporter over there, I thank you very, very much. That is the most helpful thing in the freaking world, is being supported by these fine people, and I am constantly floored that anybody would want to give me money at all. First up, we've got David P, Grundnier, Jennifer R, Nick C, Carlos, Travis R, who's the most recent newcomer, Josh Welchel, Ahmed S, Chris V, Hybrid Mink, Andrew E, Jason M, Aino Keskatalo, aka EVK Talo, Bev Wolf, aka Rexy, VGMO, Video Game Music Online, and Royal Sefton. Thank you all for supporting or having supported the show in the past. It's been fan-freaking-tastic that you guys have all helped chip in and keep things going. I've also got to give a shout out to people who have helped in other non-monetary ways, or even monetary ways, but other ways too. Ian Flynn, my good buddy, who I also co-host another show with called The Bumblecast. He's been very helpful and just pretty much, a good friend. Aaliyah Baker, also a good friend, and has been on the show a couple times, along with Ian, and also has done some artwork for the show previously, which is always greatly appreciated. We can't forget about Slider, who has also contributed a lot of artwork to the show, and was my co-host for a good long time. I'm gonna miss her. Maybe she'll come back someday. But yeah, she is freaking awesome, and always really glad to talk to her and have her on board. I haven't talked to her in a long time. I should probably fix that. Speaking of people I haven't talked to in a while, Larry OG, good old lion tamer himself. Thank you, sir, for being part of the show for as long as you have been. Also got to give a shout out to my boy Hoodie, Brandon Hood, who has helped out with the show previously as co-host. And, trying to remember who else has been. I've had all sorts of guests and people who've been on the show multiple times and people who've come back, and I can't name them all because it's hard. It's a lot of people. Huge thanks to Will Rock, who did the theme song for Nitro Game Injection and for KNGI in general. The theme song is freaking awesome. And if you've not heard it, well, rewind back to the beginning of the show because that's where it was. And of course, Will Rock, I think he's been on the show before and all that other stuff too. So big thanks to Will Rock for supporting us. And of course, everybody who contributed to KNGI Records, all the albums that we've released through there. It's been a couple of years since we've had one come out, but I would like to do another one eventually at some point. I would love to have more albums up there. So if you're interested in having your album released through KNGI Records, hit me up, let me know. But kngi.org/records, there's some really good stuff there done by some incredibly talented people who have just done really awesome things. So thank you to all of them, and thank you to you for listening to this episode of Nitro Game Injection, and for any other episodes you may have listened to as well. And for, of course, sharing the link, letting people know about the show, pimping out kngi.org, all that good stuff. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am going to also go ahead and give a shout out to some of the people in the chat room who are currently here. I don't know if they're all listening or not, but I think that's okay. I've got to give a shout out to Flozax, who came in not too long ago here. Flozax Rollins. He's also contributed some artwork to the show, so huge thank you to Flozax. He did our 10th anniversary, the 10th anniversary KNGI image, so that's freaking awesome. Compy Fox, of course, who's been a longtime supporter, like for years. He kind of disappeared for a little while, but he's back, and I'm always glad to pimp out his wares and what he's doing. Purvis, who has been a longtime listener. So, yes, thank you, Purvis. You have been here for a long time. I'm glad you have stuck around through all the changes and all the thick and thin things that the show's gone through. Let's see, who else? Jeez, maybe I'll just go ahead and shout out the whole chat room, who's also been very helpful. You got Bahamut, Ben Briggs, Beware of Pug, Bowser the Dog, Carbohydram, Kubi, Cyril the Wolf, Dark Sword, Doc Impossible, Dusk, Dine, Finbeard, Hemophiliac, Sixto, Purvis, of course, Katamari, Louisa, Ledmere Knight, Lion Tamer, Mr. Fox, Compy Fox, Norg, Nagcad, Persona Mask, President Hoodie, Sergeant Rama, Sir Nuts, SMH, Snappleman, Spoons, Stemage, Stevo, Suzerain, Sinfritz, Tizan, and Will Rock are at least the ones currently active and online right now. If I have not mentioned you and you've contributed to the show in some way, it's not for any reason other than I'm just a forgetful person, and there's a lot of people who have been involved with making NGI what it is. So thank you for being here and supporting me for 350 freaking episodes. All right, with that out of the way, with all the gushing out of the way and all the credit where credit's due and all that goodness, we got to close out the show. And we're closing out with Yoga Fire, the artist known as Yoga Fire, which is a pretty good artist name. I like that artist name. Maybe not as good as Mitch Murder, but Yoga Fire is pretty good. This one is from Street Fighter II The World Warrior, a tribute album released by Yoga Fire back in 2013. Back on yogafirewa.bandcamp.com. Still their only release. I'm very sad. I remember when that album first came out and I got the link to it from JMR. I'm like, holy crap, this thing's freaking awesome. But sadly, they've not released anything else. It's 2013. Oh well. We have one good album from them. And this particular track is called A Long Nightmare, which I think is a fitting way to end this long show. Whether it was a nightmare or not, it's up to you. It depends on if you actually like Guile's theme or not. I love Guile's theme, but, if you didn't, maybe it was a long nightmare. And after that, we have A Rival. Actually, you know what? No, I'm not gonna credit these two bonus tracks. I mean, I just said it was A Rival, so that probably narrows it down a bit. But I will, leave you to check the show notes and find out what these two bonus tracks are. So, anyway, thanks everybody for listening to this super long episode of Nitro Game Injection featuring Guile's theme. Hope you have enjoyed it. It's been Nitro Game Injection number 350. Jesus. And I've been at this for 16 years. Anyway, it's April 8th, 2019. I'm KyleJCrb. Thank you, everybody who supports the show, listens to the show. Everything, everybody, and everything. I'll see you guys next time.